Hey, everybody out there in Cryptid land. Thanks for joining me and my buddy Dirty tonight. We're going to have on Betsey Kulakowski from the Unfreakingbelievable Podcast. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot, some orbs, some crazy crocodile creatures coming out of caves, and it's going to be unfreakingbelievable on the Cryptid Quest Podcast. Hey, everybody out there in Cryptid land. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got Betsey Kulakowski with us from the Unfreakingbelievable Podcast. Hey, Betsey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks now I can't talk. Thanks so much for having me on the show. We'll get this out of the way.
You're very, very, very welcome. Thank you for coming on. So what the issue is, people, is I forgot to hit record. She did it perfect the first time, and then when I told her to do it again, well, then you can blame that one on me. You can blame that one on me. So what do you guys talk about on your podcast?
So the Unfreakingbelievable Podcast brings stories of the moments that made it different in everyday life. So we talk a little bit about the paranormal. We talk about those miraculous moments, whether it's a stroke of luck, just that moment of intuition. We have had everybody on the podcast from ufologists to Bigfoot investigators. We have had movie producers. We have had actresses and actors on the show. And our goal is to just really tell the story of that one defining moment that made a difference in people's life. We want it to be uplifting. We want it to be positive and encouraging, but we also want to get in and tell those, wow, I can't believe that happened kind of stories.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. I love the concept of it because, everybody in life has that one moment they want to talk about, and say, hey, you got to hear this. This is, like you said, unfreaking believable.
Absolutely. We provide them with a safe place to do that where they won't be judged. Nobody's going to think they're the weird kid, because I went through that my whole life. Yeah. And so, we just really want to tell those uplifting stories.
And I bet it's a blast to listen to because you got such a variety of things. You're not stuck on one topic, man. You got some range to move around and get some different thoughts and things going on with people. I like that. I like that.
And there's 3 hosts. There are 3 of us that do this together. We're all authors. And we all have a very diverse background. We have one in New Hampshire, one in Florida. And actually, the one in New Hampshire is a snowbird. She's down in South Carolina, one of the Carolinas right now. And then I'm in Central Arkansas. So
Arkansas, you're not far from me.
Yeah, I'm in Hot Springs Village. So
no doubt. You're a little far from me. I'm up by Branson.
So, okay, that's cool.
Missouri.
Just right up Highway 7.
Yeah, right by your border. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. So, and it's those. That's kind of unfreaking believable that we would run into each other online and not even know we're that really that close together. So, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I do too. So, what got you interested in wanting to do this podcast?
Yeah, it kind of started in 2020 was the first book I published. I published the Veritas Codex, the first book in the series. And it is about a television paranormal investigation team that go on the hunt for the answers to the world's greatest mysteries. And at the time, because of the pandemic, we couldn't go out and do book tours, and the bookstores wouldn't host, signing events or anything. It was really a hard time to figure out how to market a new book series. But I had a paranormal investigator actually find my book before it was released. He was one of the first readers I had. And he reached out to me and said, I loved your book. I want you to come be on the show. So that one was the Para-Unity podcast. And so that was my first real podcast appearance. And I discovered that was just a really great way, one, to tell people about my books and hopefully help find new readers, but just to have really great conversations and to really build the community. And I love that about the paranormal community. I haven't met a single paranormal investigator who hasn't been, come on in, sit down, let's talk, tell me what you've been doing, and I'll tell you what I've been doing. Yeah. And I love those conversations.
Oh, I bet. See, I love these conversations with other podcasters because I get to pick around your minds a little bit.
Exactly.
So, and before we get too far along, go ahead and why don't you tell people where they can find your book and the name of it and all that, just in case they don't watch this thing all the way to the credits.
I hope they will, but if not, my book's the Veritas Codex series, and there's now 7 books in that series. Book 8 is due out probably after the first of next year, just guessing. It could be a little earlier than that, but my publisher is working on that now. I've seen the cover. It's pretty awesome. So
awesome.
I'm very proud of my cover designer. And then I have a second series called the Manifest Destiny series, and the second book came out this week. And it debuted at number 65 on the conspiracy theory books, right next to Dan Brown, which was like my hero. So,
cool. Well,
yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you. So you can get my books wherever books are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com, Target.com. If your local bookstore doesn't carry it, you can ask them to order it through Ingram, because they're available wherever booksellers can buy books too.
All right. Very cool. So I got to know, what has been your most favorite unfreaking believable moment on your
my
show?
gosh, on the podcast or in real life? I've had both.
We'll start with the podcast, then we'll delve into the...
Oh my gosh, there have been so many really unfreaking believable. I think probably the one interview that left me speechless. Which one was that? Oh my gosh, it's so hard to think. Getting to interview somebody who was on television, everybody wants to wig out about famous people, but we interviewed Corin Nemec from Stargate SG-1.
And cool.
I watched that show religiously. I've seen like every episode of that, but that guy is so chill and so cool. It was just like talking with the neighbor. He wasn't, a big Hollywood name or, and he is, but he didn't act like it. And that was pretty amazing. The first couple episodes, we had Robert Dugoni, who's a New York Times bestselling author, on the show. He's just delightful. I've read all of his books. I'm a big fan of his. So to get him on the show was a big ask. We've had Austin Lawrence, who's a paranormal investigator who makes a couple of programs. He probably left me speechless more than anybody because of some of the stories that he told us in our interview. I actually am also a genealogist and researcher. So I went out and did some genealogy research on some of the people that he believed that they may have communicated with in spirit, and was able to verify locations and dates and information he had in his hip pocket but hadn't told me. I was able to go out and find. He's like, I can't believe you found that, because it took me forever. I'm like, I'm your girl. If you ever need somebody to do that kind of thing, I got you.
That's pretty impressive. I'm impressed.
I've got my family tree back to the year 200. So
holy cow, really?
Yeah, that's not easy to do, but I did it.
No, it's not. It's not. I think my grandma tried it years ago, and she got it to a grandpa of mine that deserted in the Civil War or something. I don't know. That's as far back as we got.
we have several other family genealogists that I just built upon what they had already found. And once I discovered Ancestry has a European package. It costs a little bit more, but it's more than what you can get for the US. Once we got into the 1600s and we're all over in Europe, then I was able to go in and find Robert the Bruce. And if they say if you can get to Robert the Bruce, you can get to Charlemagne, which I did. You get to Charlemagne, they say you can get to Jesus, but I haven't got that far because I had Noah come up, and I'm like,
no doubt.
It said fictitious character ? And
I'm like, really?
I'm out. I'm done. This is good. I can stop here. I have hit the genealogy jackpot. I'm done.
So I got a little bit of a funny story about Isaac the Bruce.
Okay. So
Robert the Bruce. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The guy I work with, Dirty, he's also my producer, just happened to pull up a picture of him one day of like how I guess they did a facial reconstruction or something.
Yeah.
Looks just like my producer.
That's cool.
He's like, look at this crap. He's like,
there's a lot of us that can trace back to Robert. So yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, all right, now what kind of good stories do you have?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I have done all kinds. I've done all kinds of paranormal investigations. My mom was always big into the paranormal. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest for a very, very short period of time. I was like 2 or 3 years old when we lived in Washington State, but I remember it very vividly. And Bigfoot was the first monster I ever remember hearing anything about. So you can tell I'm a Bigfoot girl. I've got everywhere.
Yeah, that's all behind me too. You just can't see it good.
So that was really the first monster I remember learning anything about. And we would go hiking out in the woods. We do a lot of camping when I was a kid. We lived, after we left Washington State, we were in Colorado for a while, northern New Mexico, southern Texas. And of course, Oklahoma was always home base. And I lived in Oklahoma until about a year ago. And we just moved to Arkansas to help take care of my mother-in-law recently. So I'm now getting to discover all the new places in Arkansas that are supposed to have some Bigfoot activity. But I've traveled all over the country and done Bigfoot investigations. I've also done some ghost investigations. That was something that my mom was into. And again, being a historian and being into genealogy, being able to prove the records and the stories that we were finding as investigators, we really grooved on that. So let's start with Bigfoot, since that's my first monster. So I've had what I call my 3 near misses with Bigfoot. I have never seen one, but I am a believer because I'm a knower. I have smelled it, I have heard it, and I missed footprints just by inches. So let's start at the Pacific Northwest. My husband and I had gone hiking in 2002 at Mount St. Helens, which is where the Veritas Codex series starts. They're in they're at Mount St. Helens and they're looking for Bigfoot. And in the middle of the investigation, the main investigator, Lauren, disappears. And she's gone for 10 days and we have comes back with no memory of what happened. She's injured, but they have evidence that shows she's abducted by Bigfoot. So this was 2 years after the book came out. I started writing it in 2005. So we decided I just wanted to go back and kind of fact check and see what I got right, what I got wrong, what I could do better for future books. And I wish I'd been able to do this before I went. I didn't get too many things wrong. I didn't take into account that there are actually there's a road that goes around the whole park.
Oh wow!
I made him hike through all of it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
When you have to hike. So anyway, we went hiking up there, and we're hiking on the north slope. Kind of down in the valley where a lot of the lahar and some of the volcano damage from 1980 occurred, and it's lush regrowth, and there's new trees everywhere, and there's a couple hiking trails that have been restored. So we're hiking on one of these trails, and it was a beautiful day. And my husband's, enjoying the scenery and the birds and the trees, and he's looking around at the scenery and the vista. And, he's hiking. He hikes faster than me. I'm a slow hiker. And I'm watching the ground and listening for things and sniffing around. And I'm looking for footprints is what I'm doing. And all I see are his. So, big deal.
Yeah.
But we got a copy of the newspaper the day after we were there. And on the trail we had hiked, somebody that day had gotten footprints.
No doubt.
That day.
Oh my.
So I missed footprints by that much. I mean, probably by hours, because it was on the trail we hiked.
No doubt.
And I'm kicking myself that I was like, why was I not more attentive? I'm like, how could I have been any more attentive? I about fell down 2 or 3 times because I wasn't watching where I was going. I was looking for tracks. So that was near miss number 1. The second one, we're in Oklahoma, and in southern Oklahoma, there's a little town called Honubby, and it looks like Honobia on the map, but it's pronounced Honubby from the locals who live there. They've told me this, and that's like a sign somebody knows what they're talking about.
100%.
How do you say the name of that town? It's
Honubby. Yeah.
Honubby.
Well, I've been saying it wrong all this time.
I know, me too. So I have a friend who's an author who lives in Honubby, and he was doing a book signing another town up in Heavener. And I had gone down there to support him because he writes books similar to what I write. His are a little more on the alien side, where I kind of fluctuate all over the place. But he does write a little Bigfoot and some stories like that. So I'd gone down for his book signing, and he said, well, look, he said, on your way home, he said, go south, go through Honubby. He said, there is a sign there that says Home of the Bigfoot Highway. It's the perfect place to get a photo op, take some pictures. He said, my house is like half a mile from there. He said, keep an eye out because you never know what you're going to see down there. He said, we hear stuff all the time. And that's where they have a Bigfoot festival every year. And so we decided we were going to do that. It was a little bit out of our way, but it was one of those days we were just out for a road trip. We weren't in a hurry. So we stop in Honubby, pull over, find a place to park. There's no traffic. It's a 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere. Very mountainous, lots of trees. So we get out of the car, and I'm under the sign. My husband's taking some pictures for me. And I stop and look at him and I go, do you smell that? And he's like, yeah, what is that? That's awful. I said, I don't think there's a paper mill or a rendering plant anywhere around here, but that's vile. And it smelled like, I was a safety inspector for many years. So I've been to all the stinky workplaces you could possibly go to. I've been to rendering plants. I've been to paper mills. I've been to foundries. I have been to, I've been on murder scenes, where somebody had died. I mean, I have been to some nasty slaughterhouse places. I mean, nasty. And if you take all of that, mix it together with kitty litter and wet dog.
Oh no.
That's what it smelled like.
Oh man.
So my husband's like, yeah, let's get out of here. So we got back in the car and we're driving and I'm messaging my friend. And I said, do you guys have a rendering plant near your house? And he goes, what'd you smell, Betsy? And so I told him and he goes, that was the booger.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, we smell that all the time. That was the booger. So,
the booger.
So I smelled it.
So I got to ask you this. Did you start calling it booger when you came down south?
That was one of those words I knew that was affiliated with Bigfoot, but I never really thought about it. It's more of it wasn't an Oklahoma City thing. Because that's where I lived for many years, since I was like 7.
Yeah.
We didn't call it that in Texas. We didn't call it in Washington State. So I never really thought about it. But here's a funny thing was I was doing a podcast where we were breaking down the book Where the Red Fern Grows. Yeah. And if you're in Oklahoma, every 4th grader has to read Where the Red Fern Grows. It was required reading. It's not anymore, but it used to be. And so we're breaking it down. And I realized halfway through the 40 or 50th time I have read Where the Red Fern Grows, because I read it to my kids when they were little. And now I'm reading it again as an adult. And I probably read it 20 or 30 times when I was a kid, because I love that book.
Yeah.
I realized that Bigfoot is in.
Sad though.
It is sad, but Bigfoot is in Where the Red Fern Grows and I found it.
Is it really?
And I had skimmed right by it and I'm reading along and I'm like, wait a minute, go back a minute. I go back 4 or 5 pages and there it has a comment about about the mule being so upset. He said, I've never seen, it was talking about grandma being upset. He said, I've never seen grandma so upset. The only time I've ever seen anybody that upset was when the mule saw the booger.
Boom! There you go.
Bigfoot is in Where the Red Fern
Grows.
No
shit! I mean,
yes.
I mean, no doubt.
It is, and I never called it that until my friend John did it, and now I say it all the time. So
yes, where Boogeyman comes from. The Boogeyman will get you.
There's other places where that one comes from too, but yes, definitely. Yeah. So that was Close Encounter number 2.
Okay. Well, I like that. That's good. I've never smelt it, and everybody that I've gotten the smell reported back to me from you about the same as what you do. So
yeah, exactly. So then encounter number 3 was about, I want to say it was 2023 or 24. I can't quite remember which, but my girlfriends that do the podcast with us, we decided that we were going to meet in person and go on a writer's retreat. Just the 3 of us. We had a manuscript we've been working on, and we wanted some time to just get out, maybe take a couple of hikes, go on a couple of little side trips. Let's go to Blue Ridge, Georgia, and just spend a week writing. Actually, a long weekend. It wasn't even
Blue Ridge Mountains.
Blue Ridge Mountains. So we got off the airplane in Atlanta, and we had this planned in advance. We stopped in a little town called Ellijay, Georgia. And if you've never been to Ellijay, I highly recommend you go, because they have a place there called Expedition Bigfoot that is a museum.
Huh.
They take Bigfoot reports from the area. They investigate it. It's just a neat place. It's one of those places that you just have to go.
Where's it located in comparison to Atlanta?
It's north of Atlanta, between Atlanta and Blue Ridge, Georgia.
I used to live in Atlanta, but this is way before I got into this stuff. So
it's just a cute little town anyway. Best biscuit I've ever had in my life.
Oh, now I gotta go.
You have to go. You have to go. You have to go and meet Amanda, the Bigfoot lady.
All right.
She works at Expedition Bigfoot. We had all this planned ahead of time. She knew we were coming. We were going to meet with her. We ended up spending time with her and her mom out in graveyards, stomping around. But she also introduced us to some of the recordings they have of alleged Bigfoot howls. Ooh. And so, you put on your headphones and you can stop and listen to all the different recordings they have. They've got footprints and other evidence that have been collected. They've got some Josh Gates memorabilia in there. I'm also Big fan of Josh Gates.
I love Josh Gates.
Him right there, autographed picture of Josh Gates.
I love Josh Gates.
My hero. He's my hero.
Mine too.
So, we got to our Airbnb up in Blue Ridge that evening. And the next day, two of us decided we were going to go on a morning hike. And it had stormed overnight and some trees had been blown down. So they were out cutting up trees that had fallen over the hiking trail, which the trail we were on was like a 237-mile trail. We were only going to do like a mile of it. And so one of the guys that was out on the crew working to cut down the trees asked us, he said, now, how far are you girls going to go? He said, I kind of keep an eye out for people when they're out here. He said, just to make sure everybody's okay. It's just what I do. It's part of my job as a park ranger. And I said, we're probably going to go a mile, maybe 2, depends on how my foot feels today. My knee hurts and I'm getting decrepit. And he said, if you get to the waterfall, that's probably a good place to turn around if you make it that far. He said, if you don't make it that far, you can turn around. It's good. He said, just keep an eye out. And I'm like, well, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
But did I ask? What do you mean keep an eye out? No, because I think I know what he's talking about. So we hiked for a little bit, and he had his chainsaw bound up in one of the trees, and he was having a hard time getting it out. And so he had to go get another chainsaw, cut out the first one. But when he fired up that chainsaw, this howl came across the valley that sounded like a woman screaming. I mean, I can't even scream like that, and I'm a woman. It was very animal, very high pitched, and it sounded exactly like some of the recordings we had heard at the museum the day before. Man. So we have now smelled it, heard it, and missed the tracks by that.
Yeah, holy cow! I know that sound makes your hair stand up.
It does. It does. Just thinking about it, my hair on my arm just.
Yeah. Because I've not smelt it, and I think I found a track once, but 100%. I heard one once, and man, I've heard that howl in person, and woo.
You're up in the area of the Ozark Howler too, right?
Yes. But I've got some theories about the Ozark Howler. I think the Ozark Howler is nothing but a Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. I mean, who the hell? There ain't no cats running around with horns in these woods.
I agree.
Sorry.
I agree.
But you know what? You know what's crazy? Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
My neighbors that live 5 minutes down the road, Josh Gates was out their house for the Ozark Howler. No bullshit.
You are kidding me.
No, they're on the episode.
I'm so jealous. I just got to meet Heather Amaro, who's on Expedition X. She hosts a paranormal conference in Little Rock every year. And it was just a couple of weeks ago, and I got to go and have a book table and got to meet her, and she's got my book. What's funny is that there is a character. This book is very much based on Josh's first show, Destination Truth.
Yeah.
Because I was watching his show. The whole series started. I was up at 4:00 one morning. I couldn't sleep, and it was on, and I'm watching it. And, like we're 4 or 5 seasons into it, and they never find anything.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, what if they did find something, but it was a truth they could never tell?
Ooh.
And that's what started my whole book series, because they find these truths and they can't tell them. So they find the truth about Bigfoot and aliens and missing pages of the Devil's Codex and time travel and the Mayan apocalypse and Knights Templar, because each book is its own episode of their TV show that they're in the process of producing. And then things happen while they're filming that go awry.
Oh, wow. So, that's cool.
Yeah. So Josh Gates is very much to thank for inspiring me to write that series. So there's a character in my series who is very much based on Josh.
Very cool. Well, I can't fault you for using him, man. He's pretty awesome.
He's funny.
The bad part is I didn't meet these people until after he'd already been to their house. So
it's always how it goes.
I
missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much.
Well, I got to see him in person, but I missed the VIP tickets. I didn't realize there was a VIP event, and I missed that. So I'm going to have to definitely do that again. His live show, fantastic. It was a great evening. We drove all the way down to Dallas in Dallas traffic to go see him. And then had to be home and go to work the next day. So it was an adventure in itself, but it was.
You must be a hardcore fan then. I don't even think I'd do that.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And I'm sorry, I don't care for going to Dallas.
Yeah, I don't.
The roads are the worst.
Yeah, I don't either. Not fond of it. So, gotta say, where are you at on the orb thing? Are you more into, because I'll preface it by saying I know the orbs seem, I mean, the orbs appear everywhere, you know,
Right.
in the woods, in houses, anywhere. But people do seem to run into them in spots that they have a Bigfoot encounter as well, which is what happened to me. But I did not draw a parallel to the two when it happened. And they did not happen at the exact same time. It just, I had both experiences in the same area, just at different times. And so then when I started hearing everybody talking about, you know, oh, well, the orbs and Bigfoot, they're together and everything. And I'm still trying to figure this out in my head. I don't necessarily think they are, but I can't say that they aren't.
Right.
You have any theories?
Yeah. All of my experience with orbs have been when I've been doing ghost investigations. And, you know, there are forces and energies in this world that we just don't comprehend. Well, the science has not caught up with the world that we live in. I honestly believe that. And so all the orbs that I have seen have typically been in old, dusty buildings. They have been in graveyards at midnight, in the fall, in the summer, in the winter. I have seen Indian ghost lights, which is a whole nother thing.
So time out. I'm going to compare the two. Now you say an orb and an Indian ghost light. What are the difference between the two?
So
what am I looking at?
When I think of an orb, I think of, you know, when you're watching some of the shows where they have they're doing paranormal investigations, like for ghosts.
Yeah.
You will see things move across the screen. It's not a bug. You know, it's winter and they're dead, which is when they should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see this thing move across the camera and it almost has a face to it. Is it a dust mote? Is it an orb? I mean, that's what I think of when you say orbs.
So maybe I saw a ghost light.
Yeah, ghost lights are more like a ball of light.
That's what I saw.
Okay. So the ghost lights, the stories of those go back to the Native Americans before central Arkansas, before central Oklahoma were settled by the white man. I mean, the conquistadors came through here in the 1400s or whatever. So those stories are ancient. When the stories go back that far, that gives it some validity to me.
Yeah.
I have seen ghost lights on highways where there are no traffic, where there's no cars, dead end roads. You can look out across the bridge, turn off all your headlights and stand there and watch. And you can see these orbs of light come up over from the water and over the bridge and back down the other side. Different colors. I've been in graveyards where I've seen ghost lights. If you want to call them orbs, we can call them orbs. You know, everybody wants to go back and say, well, it's just a ball of gas rising from the swamp. Well, I haven't been in swamps at night. I don't really know that I buy into that theory. I can't disprove it. Yeah. But you know, I'm looking at the preponderance of the evidence because I try to approach everything from a scientific standpoint. Sport. My background is I'm a trained investigator to do fatality investigations by federal OSHA. Oh, wow. I work at the state level, but I have been on fatality investigations, and I've been trained to gather the data. You want those confirmed. You want to identify an initial cue, or people call them clues. We call them cues. And then you want to find anything that will either support that or negate it. So those negating cues are every bit as important as the confirming cues. But when you have more confirming cues than negating cues, the preponderance of evidence says that's most likely what the case is. So there's still a lot of research in that aspect to be done. I don't think there's been a lot of people who've really spent a lot of time researching it. It's not something that I've spent a lot of time on because there's just more science there than I have bandwidth to maintain it.
I got you.
But I truly believe that there is more there than we will know. And it does not surprise me to hear that it has been associated with sightings of Bigfoot as well. Because again, the energies are different. And go ahead. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Oh, do you? Well, I was going to say, I think that when you said energy, I think certain areas have an energy.
Yes.
That they have an energy, and it might be what draws all these different things in. And the place where I saw I'm going to call it a ghost light now. I'm done calling it a lure, because it was a light. It was about the size of a baseball. It was right at the treetops, and it almost like it had a thought in its head, because it followed me. It would stop when I stopped, move when I moved, stop when I stopped.
Sentience.
What is it?
Sentience. That consciousness. It's sentient. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, well, it scared the hell out of me. I know that.
Yeah.
but I also know that this was an area of land where the Indians actually did live, because I used to find arrowheads there all the time.
Yep.
So I have a feeling, and it was right on the Merrimack River. This is where I had my Bigfoot thing. I think that piece of land just holds something.
I think the land remembers. I really do. Sandstone and some of the other geostratas will hold more energy than others. Limestone is a big one. There's a lot of limestone in Arkansas, a lot of caves.
And Missouri.
Yep. I use caves in the Veritas Codex series as those places where the energies collect. And so when you start talking about the energies, and it's like, caves are a big one for me. And my main character being claustrophobic, which I am also, is not a place that she really wants to be, but it's always the place she ends up, whether she likes it or not.
Holy cow. Well, you don't want to hear any of my caving stories then. I've been in spots to where I had no room at the top of me, no room at the bottom of me, and no room side to side. And I just kept going forward. I
worked for a while as a building inspector doing asbestos abatement inspections. And I had to do some under buildings where you had to climb through a tunnel in an air tank. And more than once I got stuck and had to either get pulled out or manage to scoop my way back out or dig my way out. Because it was just too tight of a space. And I'm not a small girl. I never have been. I've been thinner, but I've never been shorter. I'm pretty tall. So not necessarily the right person to go climbing under buildings, but that was part of the job and I had to do it. I couldn't let the boys have all the fun. So so I'm a little claustrophobic, and I'm also a little stitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. I'm superstitious.
I got you. I am too. So I have a jersey that I was wearing most of the season, and my football team's been winning. Well, my wife got me a new one, and I put it on for the game, and they almost lost. And I swore if they lost, I was never going to wear that jersey again.
Exactly.
And I was gonna burn it.
I played ice hockey for 10 years, and I had certain ways that I put on my skates, and I had to lace up the left one over the right one first, and I had to flip my sock up on one side because I scored a goal one night when my sock. I didn't realize it. So I'm very superstitious about stuff like that.
That's great. Well, it's something you mentioned about your book when you said the people, when they had their Bigfoot encounter, they were going out paranormal investigating.
Right.
I've gotten several, probably 10, maybe more, where people end up going out to do paranormal research and bam, they have a Bigfoot experience or they see a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I think that
I've never been that lucky.
Well, I haven't either. So mine was an accident. Yeah. Mine was a total accident. I was asleep in a ground blind and the mister decided to come say hi to me.
That sounds like a unfreakingbelievable story we need to talk about.
Yeah, well, I probably need to check my email. I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
So but so and then I've got to ask, what do you think about portals? Because there's so, and I am not that guy that says Bigfoot stepping in and out of portals.
Yeah.
I think they exist.
Yep.
I don't know that, because some people seem to think that Bigfoot can make one appear at will. I don't know that I necessarily buy into that.
Yeah.
I
had never heard this theory until just the last couple of years. And remember, I started writing the Veritas Codex series in 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
All I can say is you got to read my book.
Okay. I will.
Because, again, the caves become really important when you've got a Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest. Especially around Mount St. Helens, where they have all these underground lava caves, the lava tubes.
Yeah. See, well, what happened to me happened. There's caves.
Yes.
That cave I was telling you about that I crawled into, it was at that same spot. I love that
I
area.
truly believe that if Bigfoot is smart, he will avoid man at all costs.
Oh yeah.
Because we've never been good for any society or culture we've ever met. Ever. And you can ask the Native Americans about that.
Yeah.
So with there being so many caves in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, over into Tennessee and Georgia and up into Missouri, I would not be surprised if there are some that are big enough that they are all interlinked and they have this underground community network, whatever you want to call it. It would be the perfect place to be able to live. There was an episode of one of the paranormal shows, and I honestly can't remember which one it was, but they were looking for the Gowrow here in Arkansas. And it's the Southern Arkansas thing.
I've never even heard of that. What is
Gowrow was supposed to be an alligator type creature. Nobody really could explain what it looked like, but every example I heard of it was alligator type creature living in caves underground in Southern Arkansas. And so they sent a crew out and they talked to the locals and they interviewed people who had seen it, had experiences with it, spent a lot of time in the caves, the cavers and people who like to go do that kind of thing. And so they went into one of these caves, and of course it's tight spaces, and I'm sitting here watching it like this, like it's a horror movie. That is horror to me. I'm super cringed out about that. And sure enough, they found alligators underground in this cave that had been there long enough that they had mutated so that they adapted to the dark environment, and they were eating bats and fish and things that were already in the cave, and they had been down there long enough that they had adapted to their environment, and they brought this alligator out of this cave, and I'm lost your mind. It was huge.
Really? It was big?
Somebody actually found something. Yes, it was huge.
How big was it?
Probably 8-9 feet. Maybe.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm a horrible judge of size.
Well, no. If it's bigger than 2 feet, that's big.
It was bigger than 2 feet. I will tell you that. It took a couple of those guys to wrangle that thing out of there.
I have to watch this.
I'll find it and send it to you.
Okay, just let me know. I gotta watch that.
Because one of the first things I did when I knew we were moving to Arkansas, I was like, okay, I need to find my paranormal community in Arkansas. And the only person I knew was Heather Amaro, who's on Expedition X. And I'm like, I'm never going to get close enough to meet her. I need to find the other locals. So I'm going to learn about all the different legends in Arkansas. I actually did a whole week of social media posts on Arkansas cryptids. And so the Ozark Howler, the Gowrow, the Fouke Monster, the legend of Boggy Creek is Arkansas's claim to fame. I think there was 3 or 4 others that I'm just going to blank out on right now, but I did a whole week of paranormal posts on my social medias about Arkansas.
Nice. So, no, that's cool.
But the Gowrow was on my list, and then I found that show and watched it. It's like, I cannot believe that.
That is so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
So I just caught word from my buddy Todd Deese tonight that they're doing a Bigfoot conference down around Little Rock next June. Are you going to it?
I'm going to be one of the VIP speakers at that.
Yeah, because I just got asked to be there too.
Ooh, yes.
We'll see you there. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be in June.
Yeah.
And it's the Cryptid.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
So everybody needs to start making plans now to come.
Heck yeah! I'm excited. I just found out this afternoon. Todd called me and said, "Hey, I talked to Ortman, and he said give him a call." I'm like, "Yes."
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah. No, I love the community here. The networking has just been fantastic.
Everybody's so nice too.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's so nice too. Yeah, and everybody's willing to help you, and nobody's a jerk.
Exactly.
I mean, I've ran into that with other people in other places, but that's a different day, different story.
Yeah.
So,
true.
Talking about people with attitudes, what do you think about Dogman? What do you think Dogman really is?
So today on one of the social media networks I follow, they posted a picture of what they think is the footprint of Dogman in Oklahoma.
Oh,
now, it was probably a decade-old picture, but I can tell you, if that creature is running around in Oklahoma, I'm glad I moved to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Because that looked creepy. I don't really know a lot about Dogman, but from what I do know, I don't want to know Dogman.
Yeah. So I've interviewed people that have claimed to see it. I've got some theories on it myself. I don't necessarily think it's a flesh and blood creature, even though a lot of people with the encounters, they talk about it like it's flesh and blood. And maybe when it's here, I think something else is going on with that thing. I don't know if it's just an evil demon, or maybe it does have the ability to, plane walk or will they go to a different dimension here and there?
Time shift, shape shift, who knows what?
Yeah, there's something about that thing. I don't want to even know if I want to be near it or talk about it. I like talking about it.
I love talking about it, but here's one thing about me. I am absolutely night blind. I cannot see anything in the dark. I can put glasses on and drive with some ambient lighting. I usually try to be home by dark.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cut down on my paranormal investigating at night.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to run into something like that in the dark because I won't see it coming. I almost picked up a snake once because I thought it was a fish flopping around on the ground. I thought, I can use that for bait. And it was a water moccasin that had a fish in his mouth.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful.
So I don't go out in the dark if I can avoid it.
Those things cause
we camp and hike and stuff, but I try to be either in the camper or in camp by the time it gets dark, just because I need my flashlights, and I always make sure I have plenty of batteries to keep them well lit.
Yeah, you're not in the right biz for not having good night vision.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll talk to the eye doctor about that next time I go.
There you go. So, hey, that brings me to another thing. So, do you have any theory on like Bigfoot and having the self-illuminating eyes? Because, and I bring this up because I brought up Todd Neese's name.
Right.
He does not believe in the woo at all.
Right.
But he also told me about how he went, I forget exactly where it is, but some Native Americans took him out. And he said that they would talk to them. He said they would come out of the wood. He said you could hear them coming. And he said you could see, it looked like little burning cigarettes. And you could see their eyes popping up.
Yeah. And
he said, for the life of me, I don't think they faked that. I think it was real.
Yeah. So, I have seen some video that were reported Bigfoot sightings where you very clearly see eye shine, and there was no real light source.
Yeah.
That could cause that. I mean, it was pretty dark. Maybe it was a trick of the camera. Who really knows? But I would not be at all surprised by that if I were to encounter that myself. Again, those Native American legends, they are better connected to their maybe it's their ancestors, maybe it's because they have lived together in harmony over the decades, centuries, millennia, who knows. But I will never, when they start telling me Native American legends from the source, I will never second guess that. I actually took the Cherokee language in college.
Oh, really?
Because we had always been told, you're descended from a Cherokee princess. Everybody is. Well, I remember my great-grandmother speaking Cherokee. And so I wanted to learn the language. I was so worried that it would not survive. There were so few Native American speakers that when the college in Norman began teaching Cherokee, they actually had an elder come from Tahlequah every week. His granddaughter would bring him, and he would teach us Cherokee. And he would tell us the stories and tell us the legends, and we all would learn from him, and we would communicate with him and practice our conversational Cherokee in class. And some of the legends he told were, about some of the creatures that the white man don't really know about.
Yeah.
Today, which is probably the Cherokee version of the Loch Ness Monster. That legend was probably one of my Uktane.
I wonder if that's the one I talk So I interviewed a guy who knew a lot, and I can't remember the name
Mhm.
of it now. Is that Cherokee?
It's Cherokee, yeah.
What is it? What does that mean? Does it mean like big fish or something? Or
It's something like that. It's like water lizard or water horse or something like that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, because
Yeah.
I had a guy on the show
Mhm.
probably about 30 episodes ago that
Mhm.
talked about that.
Right.
And we
Right.
discussed what it might be. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
That just
okay. But
caught
in
my
learning
ear.
the genealogy, I was able to find the family tree that came from Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia. And one half of the family was on the Dawes roll. The other half of the family is not on the Dawes rolls, and I'm descended from the half that's not on the Dawes rolls.
Oh,
So either somebody lied to get off of them, probably so they didn't have to walk the trail, because a lot of the
yeah.
family did have to walk the trail. And some of them didn't make it past Arkansas because that was the killing zone. A lot of the people on the Trail of Tears died when they got to Arkansas because they hit it in wintertime. And
Oh,
they kept them marching, and they didn't provide shelter. They didn't provide blankets. They didn't provide extra provisions. And a lot of the people who died on the Trail of Tears actually died in Arkansas. And
oh.
so not everybody made it to Oklahoma. So we think that may be in what happened. But the DNA also supports it. I don't have any Cherokee DNA when I did the DNA test. So there may have been, the father married two women, and one was Cherokee and one wasn't, and they got the children assigned to the wrong mother, which happens a lot in genealogy.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's what the DNA supports. But I remember hearing Cherokee when I was little. My grandmother, my great grandmother called me Wesa, which means kitty or cat. So my Cherokee name when I was little was Wesa. So
I
yeah.
like it.
So I wanted to keep the language alive, and so I use it quite a bit in my books. And my character has a panache for languages, and when she wants to cuss, she either cusses in Bulgarian or in Cherokee. And their cussing is completely different. It's not like, SOB and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
may the hairs grow on your women's chins
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff.
May your wife have hairy boobs or something like
Something
that.
but it's still a little
Oh,
different.
geez.
So it gets me out of having to have bad language in my book, because I can just say, Lauren cussed in Cherokee.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there's another guy I did some interviews with. Man, I ought to have him get a hold of you, because I didn't know you were so into the Indian.
Yeah.
Because he's writing books right now on the different tribes and their legends. And one of them he's doing is Cherokee. He's writing a book on Cherokee, and he's getting his information straight from the source.
That's good. That's how it
He's
should
going,
be.
yeah, because he when during the interview he told me how it took him forever before they'd even start talking to him.
Yeah.
And once he befriended them, it took, so
got to earn their trust. For
he
sure.
is educated on this, and it's so interesting.
One of the things as an author, you always want to be respectful of any culture when you write about them.
Yeah.
And so I have friends who are Native American. I have friends in the Chickasaw tribe. I have friends that are Choctaw, friends that are Cherokee. And so I would have them read my books and say, did I get it right? Is this accurate? Is there anybody you can think of I need to reach out to fact check this? Do you have a contact? And so I was able to make connections with some tribal people who could give me corrections. I've had readers that I've come along after the fact, after they were published, that read the books and reached out to me and said, really want to thank you for being respectful of our culture and of our people and our language, and to help keep it alive, because it's so important. We're losing our languages so quickly.
Yeah.
The Cherokee Nation is now giving their employees a bonus if they are fluent in Cherokee.
Oh, wow.
Because they have been working really hard. They have a school now for the children. When they go to school, they learn their language in school from the time they're very little. And there are classes the older students can take. There is a TV, they have their own TV channel. OCO.com has, they're looking at putting back their Cherokee dictionary. So there's a lot of really good opportunities for tribal members to learn and preserve that language. And I think that's a credit to their leader. He's done a great job in that role. He butts heads quite a bit with the governor about Indian monies and tribal monies and things like that. But his heart is in the right place, because he's taking care of his people. And the leaders of the tribal nations in Oklahoma that I've had dealings with, and I've worked with them closely on their safety programs and things like that. Just outstanding.
Cool. Well, that makes my heart feel good that that they're putting all that into it, because honestly, hell, that was the first American language, if you ask me. Wasn't English. English came from Europe.
Yeah, there are several, there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of languages that were native to America before the white man came. And there were the Algonquin languages, and you get into Seneca and Cherokee and Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee, and then they got the Seminole. I mean, there's languages all over. Get into Lakota and Dakota, and they're so close, but just a little bit different because they're different tribes, and the language changes and evolves really quickly. So
I love it, man. Just the Indian culture, the way they thought, the way they lived, I freaking love it. But that's a different story for a different day as well.
That's a credit to them. That's a credit to them as a people.
Yeah, it is. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up, Betsey. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here? Or?
I would highly recommend folks come visit us over at the Unfreakingbelievable Podcast.
Hell yeah.
You can find us on all your major podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Audible. I'm sure there's some others. I'm forgetting. Oh, YouTube.
iHeart. Are you on iHeart?
But we're not on iHeart yet, but we're looking at how to do that. Now that I know some friends that are on iHeart, they're going to help me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find something else to listen to you on. That's probably why I haven't read, because I always listen on iHeart. It's easier on my phone.
We're on Spotify, and so we're really happy about that.
Well, then, you know what I'm going to be listening to tomorrow at work? Unfreakingbelievable Podcast.
We also have a Patreon to help support, just pays for our costs. We've got our platforms and some social media stuff that we pay for. We do have a Facebook group at UFB Podcast. We're on TikTok at UFB Podcast, and we're on Instagram at UFB Podcast. And then we also have a website, which is ufbpodcast.com.
There you go. Everybody go check that out. Check out the podcast, check out her books, and check out her pages. And well, Betsey, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on tonight. It was a blast talking to you.
I have enjoyed every minute of it. I look forward to doing it again soon.
Heck yeah, we will. And everybody else out there in Cryptid Land, keep it creepy. That's it.
shadows creep. I'm trying to find the legend that the people keep. Bigfoot's the name, got a story to tell. Footprints in the mud, can't you hear the bell? Whispers in the night, can you feel that chill? Bigfoot on the run, he's a legend, keep it real. Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride. Like I'm on a quest, searching for the homie, you know he's the best. Got my camera ready, heightened senses on blast. Snap a shot of Sasquatch, legend unsurpassed. Eyes in the dark, you can't catch what you can't see. King of the woods, living wild and free. Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride.